Hi, I'm Graham Lasso, and you're listening to Eat, Sleep, Chelsea, Repeat with Chris, Craig, and Brady.
Sleep, Chelsea, repeat. Eat, sleep, Chelsea, repeat. Eat, sleep, Chelsea, repeat. Eat, sleep, Chelsea, repeat.
Welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Chelsea, Repeat pod. The headline this week, Chelsea make it 8 wins on the trot for the 12:30 kickoffs. Today I am joined by my brother Craig and our good friend Brady. Guys, how are we feeling? Up to second place in the Premier League.
Yeah, getting a nosebleed up here. No, we're familiar with this territory from last season. But yeah, the couple of big games coming up.
Another win in the bank. Little Barclays joke there. As Joe Cole said, I think this was actually, we've got 2 Goliath games coming up, but I think this might have been arguably one of the maybe the most important game of the week in a way, because it was one. I know you said we won 12 in a row, but it was one where you could easily stumble and not get 3 points, not keep up with the pace. So I thought it was a really big win, especially with some of the fixtures we've got coming up.
It's 8 wins on the trot for 12:30 kickoffs.
Oh, not 12. 8. That is mad.
That is crazy. But do you know what our next 12:30 kickoff is? Oh, that's a tricky one.
Oh, Newcastle away.
Newcastle away. Oh no,
that could be tricky.
Maybe time unlucky there.
Yeah, well, got to keep the run going. But right, let's talk about Burnley away, because this was a game, obviously coming off the back of an international break, people travelling here, there, and everywhere, and we managed to cobble together some players to fill out for the 12:30 kickoff. Finished 2-0. Pedro Neto and Enzo Fernandez scoring goals. 1.7 expected goals for Chelsea to 0.4 for Burnley, who make it their 8th loss of the season. 55% possession for Chelsea, 82% pass actually, so slightly lower than normal. Only 5 shots on target out of 15, and 2 out of 2 saves for Robbie Sanchez. Craig, I'll come to you first for your like or dislike.
Let's start with the positive. I mean, you're struggling for dislikes in this. I do have one, but let's start with the positive, the likes, and that is managing minutes. We saw Reece James subbed at half time as a planned sub. We saw Moises Caicedo sat on the bench for the entire game for the first time in the Premier League under Enzo Maresca. And yeah, we still got a pretty comfortable 2-0 win. You know, we've got some big games coming up. I just thought managing the minutes was fantastic.
My like was the team is like a lot more robust. I know we've had easy fixtures recently, but it was another game where we only conceded, crumbs of XG basically. Just a lot of the metrics are pretty good. I mean, Sanchez has got a 50% clean sheet ratio this year. Last year he had 31%. I mean, just a bit of context, like Raya got the Golden Glove last year and was 34% clean sheet. We just look a lot more resolute. I think they're still maybe from like Potter era or something, that when you watch Chelsea, you're always like a bit nervous. Well, you're not going to be nervous generally, but you're always thinking maybe that catastrophic thinking, like something bad's going to happen. And nothing really is this season, other than the red cards. Other than that, the season's been like relatively...
There was a moment where Sanchez booted the ball into Enzo's head after about 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, you watch any game that's in jeopardy, we're just pretty solid, I think. It's just a narrative that we're like still very vulnerable, and like we're 2 wins from a loss from crisis, and it's just not true these days. I think we're just a long way from where we were under the Clear Lake leadership, and we're just clearly just progressing in quite a lot of different metrics. I mean, we're not like the finished article whatsoever, but yeah, I mean, we're top of the away table. You know, our stats are good. We're second in the table. I think you just sometimes got to realise that we're doing fairly well, considering that we've had 2 games where we finished with 10 men.
Yeah, and on that, I do feel like Sanchez is on the cusp of doing something daft. He's treading that line very, very carefully at the moment. Yeah, my like for this game was sort of a little bit around what Craig said, but yeah, just to get the win really. With obviously a lot of people out in terms of, in the international break, resting people, and I think scoring 2 goals in these games, which I keep banging on about, is so important. I mean, still felt very nervous at the end of the Tottenham game, even though we were comfortable in the game. But when it was 1-0, there's always a risk. And I think to get the second goal at the end of this just sort of finished it. And I think, obviously, I'd like to have got it sooner, but scoring 2 goals in these games, I think it's 75 to 85% win percentage if you scored like more than 1 goal in a game. So I think it's just super important that we keep going. This is a good win. The last 2 games were the most important games to win. We've got sort of, I would describe as a relatively, not an unimportant game against Arsenal, but it's a game that you can afford to draw, I think. So, yeah, I think this is a really good result for us, and I'm really happy with the way that we won without the need for, especially like Caicedo not being on the pitch for the entirety of the game. Yeah, it's just really good. Really happy with that. Any dislikes, Greg? You mentioned you didn't really have any.
I'm struggling, but I've pulled one out. Is that I was absolutely desperate to watch Steval play again after seeing his Brazil performance. I just love watching him play, and we got robbed of it. We didn't get to watch him play, but we will hopefully get to see him play on Tuesday night against Barcelona. So that's a nice consolation.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this. I just probably a prelude to some freezers today. I just think number 9's really weak. I know that João Pedro plays there sometimes and he's okay. I think Delap probably may come good at some point, but he's very raw. Guiu came on and got a good assist, but he's also extremely raw. I do think we just need to. I think if you're going to go with experience, I think you need to go in that spot in the summer. I don't know who we're going to get, but Chelsea are very good at scouting and they're very good at finding, 24 to 27-year-old gems. Usually they're younger, but I'm sure the scouting department can go a little bit older. I do think we need a more refined 9. I think at the moment
we have got a 9 coming in next summer.
Yeah, the Strasbourg player.
Amico.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't feel like
it's not.
it doesn't feel like that's answering my.
He's
problem.
22 and Dutch. So.
Yeah. That doesn't really answer my problem. That feels like another Delap type signing, to be honest. Where they're going to need time and they're going to be raw unless they really hit the ground running. You're looking for not Drogba, but how old was Drogba when we signed him? 25, 26? I mean, he was already fairly proven. I mean, just something like that. Just because I just feel like
Drogba was old, wasn't he? But older, about 24, 25. But he wasn't proven. He'd started playing.
He's playing for Marseille, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel we're weak at 9. I'll be honest. I think it's our weakest area. We're chipping in a lot more with win goals this year, which is really good. I mean, Neto, who we'll talk about, obviously has got 4 league goals already. I think he only had 6 the whole last season, maybe even 5. Garnacho's chipping in when he's playing. Everyone's chipping in. Obviously, Enzo, Caicedo. There's goals around the team. That's fine. But 9, I'm not just saying because of the lack of product. I just watch 9 and I just think it's weak, to be honest.
Do you think that's sort of a consequence of sort of what's going on around in football, where basically every team apart from Man City, no 9s are scoring any goals, basically?
I mean, you've still got Lewandowski, and I mean, you're right. Maybe a smaller team like a Brentford have got Thiago, and he's been scoring quite a lot. But yeah, there are. You're right, but they're still.
I think Maresca has said as well that he's not playing in a sort of way where he's going to get a 9 that scores 20, 25 goals. He's going to have goals from everywhere, basically.
He said 40 goals, didn't he? But he said in that press, he said, I want 40, 50 goals from my attack, and you either have a guy with 30 or 40 goals in the 9, or you spread it out. I still think Maresca would want a more refined 9 who can hold it better. And it's just, maybe Delap will improve, but I do just think over the season, we are extremely raw, and there's no experience in that spot. And João Pedro's, whatever you want to call it, 9.5, whatever. And he just, he's sometimes better than 9, sometimes better than a 10. Yeah, I just think, and that lad from Strasbourg coming in, I'm sure he's a good talent, but it feels like the same of what we've already got. So yeah.
My dislike was sort of a bit further from the 9, but it's more like attacking fluidity. I think we really struggled to look like a team who knew how to attack. There were a lot of people who looked like they were out for themselves, especially when the ball was in the last third. Delap's not passing. Then Neto gets the ball. He doesn't want to pass. Gittins looks like he only wants to cross the ball. And I just think it just feels like it's quite disconnected. And I appreciate they're all young and half of them turned up this season, but it'd be nice if there was a bit more of an unselfishness to the game. And yeah, it's just looked a bit poor, I thought, when we got to the last third, which is probably why the game was, 1-0 for long periods. There wasn't that many chances for us in the first half, even after we scored. I know you mentioned, like last week, you score against Wolves, you open the game up. It's never really happened for us. It wasn't really a barrage on the Burnley goal, which I kind of was expecting, especially in the second half. Again, it just wasn't looking like it was quite enough. And maybe that's where Cole Palmer comes into it a little bit more, and Caicedo with his progressive passing. But I think when we got into the last third, it just felt a little bit disconnected. Not getting to the byline enough for me. A lot of things are happening way before the byline. Not enough 1-2s. I think there's more to get with the people that we've got. I know, Brady, you mentioned about going into the window. I think these guys just need to play more with each other, obviously, but start by being unselfish and then move from there, I think. But yeah, I wasn't that impressed with what I saw when the ball got to the last third. I think it was very, very disconnected, as I said.
It's a little delayed, like Cole Palmer's back on the grass. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to be playing this week, but I think he'll get minutes versus Leeds. So, that is very good news.
Yeah, that is great news. Right, let's move on to the temperatures. Let's talk about some of the players.
Time to see whose form's on top, who's heating up, whose temperature's dropped, who's been playing well and who's not. It's freezing, warming up, boiling hot.
Right. Let's have a look at. We're going to do a slightly different format for this. I'm going to read them all out, and then we can talk about them. So, freezers this week. Craig's got Pedro in the 10. Brady's gone for Delap. I've also gone for Delap. So it's a 2-1. Craig, you want to fight your corner here?
Yeah. Well, I think we've had a bit of chat on the pod before about Pedro, and I think Brady said he's clearly not a 9 before as well, which I don't agree with. I just watch him in the 10. He's very unnatural there for me. The way we play 10, and they haven't changed this season despite Cole Palmer sort of not being available for the first 3 months. They end up very deep in the pitch a lot, which is great when you've got a player like Palmer. It's very natural in the centre of the pitch. Very technical player in tight spaces. Is able to sort of create drop deep passes, spray it around. João Pedro is a slightly different skill set to that, and he looks so awkward in that central area sometimes on the ball. The other aspect of it is the off the ball, the press from João Pedro. In that he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing at times in that area of the pitch. The first 20 minutes where Burnley were pretty strong in this game. The press from us coming out of goal kicks was about as poor as I've seen it this season, and quite a lot of that. Sorry,
just about. Maresca said that he prepared for a 5 and it was a 4.
Yeah,
so maybe it was to do with that.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't really obviously couldn't pick anything up on the fly, and obviously tactically they probably need to make some adjustments. But I do think even when things look organised, Pedro's not great in that role as well. So I think Pedro is best as a false 9. In most games that works out really well, and I think if you're going to play him in this deeper 10 role, I think it's got to be a little transition from what Cole Palmer's sort of style is at 10. I'm not exactly sure how that would function, but I don't think he looks very natural there. And yeah, he was okay in this game. And look, there's obviously some positive aspects from Pedro. He has 5 big chances created in the Premier League this season, which is second in the whole league. Behind only Doku, and he has obviously got some nice touches and passing in and around the penalty area. It's more the deeper stuff where I think he looks really uncomfortable.
I would completely agree with you, to be honest with you. I actually thought he looked really poor in the games. I think he was removed from an area where I think he could have affected it a bit more. Like I said, I thought he was very uncomfortable in the middle of the pitch receiving the ball. He just felt like he wanted to do more. He likes to do more on the ball, and I think when he's in central midfield, it becomes a lot harder because he's crowded.
Yeah, there's no space. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas when he's just with the back defender to his back, he can roll him and open the game up a little bit more, which, we saw Delap do quite nicely a few times, to be fair to him, although he did struggle with that for large periods of the game. So, yeah, I think he is a little bit wasted, actually, in that spot. I wouldn't ever really play him there. I think his race is run. I'd go more down your road. I think false nine for me is his best spot. I still think when we spoke about him in the beginning of the season, I likened him quite a lot to Firmino in terms of his role at Liverpool, what he was doing for like Salah and Mane, where he'd almost drop in. You almost have to sacrifice yourself a little bit for GAs just to get everyone else up. But I think he can do that. Obviously, the system's a little bit different, but I think he can be a big help. Obviously, Palmer makes a big difference to him in that spot as well. So when he's up front, so that's a big miss for him.
Well, obviously, when Palmer comes back, Palmer will be the 10, so they are naturally going to have to evolve João Pedro's, space in the team. It's interesting whether he will just de facto become the false nine, or he'll think about playing Palmer right, but I don't think so because Wright's so strong with Estevao and Neto. So, or João Pedro could just be back up 10 for Palmer now. So it'll be interesting how his minutes, he's like X minutes and kind of X involvement, and just how he just shapes around the team. Going through Christmas would be really interesting because we've got a lot of games.
I think it'll be like rotation and like horses for courses with the strikers, right?
We have a lot of games. I mean, we have a game every 3 days for like months now, really. We have a lot of games, obviously, over Christmas and Champions League, and we've got the League Cup and obviously FA Cup in January. So got a lot of games, plenty of minutes, but it's just how he evolves, whether he'll be used there. I did disagree a little bit. I think he can be quite good in tight spaces, João Pedro. He can kind of dribble his way out of it, or like kind of beat players and win fouls. I think he's good at that. In this game, he just was overplaying a little bit. He just wasn't picking simple passes. This is something I think of all the Chelsea players. They just weren't picking simple passes. And Chris said he looks selfish, but I think it could be that. And it's also just a lot of just picking the maybe lack of fluency, like Chris said. I don't know after the international break, but he's got a lot of ability, and he's got 4 goals, 3 assists this year in 1,000 minutes in the league. I mean, and that's good. I mean, that's really good. But for someone who's not playing, 9 all the time, but yes, you probably want him in your first team. I think most of the time, but it's how you fit him in. I think.
Okay. Obviously, we talked a little bit about Delap. I thought he struggled. What was your take on him, Brady?
I mean, there's a big narrative about Liam Delap that he needs to get up to speed and like he's not fit. It's the opposite. He needs to slow down and just think about what he's doing. He's like a ragged dog up there. Honestly, there was a bit in the 5th minute where he had 3 passes, easy through balls for like what would have been a high XG chance. And he just takes like a shot off balance 30 yards. He's just not thinking properly up there. And there's a thin line. We compare him to Costa and players like that. There's a thin line between a player like that where Costa actually had like real quality on the ball in the final third. Like, he could like play players in and he got a few assists. Delap is like so thirsty and greedy for a goal, which is fair enough. He hasn't really got that many goals. Obviously, he's been injured and, he got sent off, etc. And, when you've been injured, I know you want a goal, but he just looks really raw. And he looks like the kind of player, to me, that most of the time she's playing cup games, as in like League Cup games, he doesn't really... I know we want to start in... With Delap, he can unlock the rest of the team a little bit because he can occupy space. But in terms of his actual end product as a 9 and taking up minutes, it doesn't look great at the moment. And I think he looks fit. I don't think he looks unfit. I just think he just looks not up to it in terms of composure. And I mean, if he had composure...
It does look like he's trying too hard, doesn't it?
If he had, on FIFA, they have like out of 100. His composure's like 15 out of 100. He's got no composure. He's just constantly just barging into people, snatching at shots. He's really good. There's loads of examples in this game of him holding the ball up quite well, doing the ugly stuff. That's good. But we need more than that. If we're going to be an elite team, we need someone doing the other side. We can't just getting like 7 goals a season. So Yeah, I mean that's why I go back to what I said about 9. I'm not saying he's not good enough, but I don't think he's going to be what we need for a few years until he kind of grows into his skin a little bit as a striker. He's still very young, very raw. But him and Guiu, I think, are very similar. I actually don't see much difference between Guiu and Pedro, but Guiu and Delap personally, very similar players, and they're both really raw.
Yeah, I would agree with you. What do you think, Craig?
I think we haven't seen enough of him to judge yet, minutes wise. I think big long injury.
I disagree with that. I think you've seen Liam. I think you've seen what Liam Delap is. You saw it last season at Ipswich. You know what he is. I don't think he's going to cheat.
I don't think I'm going to say when a 22-year-old signs for a big club that I've seen him play for 300 minutes and I know exactly what he is. I think
we know what he was at Ipswich, right? He's a battering ram. He is what he is. He's not going to be.
Yeah, I mean, Ipswich's style of play is like night and day. It's like playing a different game, basically, to Chelsea's. They had like 30% possession and just lumped up to him for like against two centre backs for most of it. Huh?
That seems like it suits him more.
Potentially, but that's the evolving of under new tactics. I think we saw this with Neto last season as well, where I said to you you're going from Wolves to Chelsea. It's like apples and oranges.
Neto was older and a more cultured player. I don't know if that's a great comparison. I mean, Neto was always a more cultured Premier League player.
The comparison is changing styles and being a young player. Obviously. Okay, Neto was 24 and Delap's 22. I think that's probably even more so for Delap that he can learn and evolve his role from that style of football to this. And yeah, we just haven't seen him for enough minutes. I think it's a bit panic stations. The 9 being saying we need to sign someone next summer.
Any difference between him and Guiu as a player?
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I watched Mark Guiu play a lot of Conference League games last year, and I actually don't think he's very good at all, Mark Guiu. He's a pretty average player, whereas I think Liam Delap's got a much higher ceiling.
Was from him. I mean,
he did have a good moment in this game.
Incredible assist. It's such a good assist that
that guy's quick, by the way, as well at the back for Burnley. Like he isn't a slouch. Tuanzebe. He's a very quick defender. Yeah, he just skinned him. That was
I think
really
he's
impressive.
a good prospect. I think Delap's a much more developed player. He's obviously 23. Look, we've seen Delap play for 220 minutes in the Premier League. So what's that? Less than 2.5 games?
I think the point we're looking at here is we've got a game against Barcelona and Arsenal. You wouldn't put him anywhere near
100% would start him against Barca.
I'm not starting him against Barca, no way.
100% would start him.
I think you want a pressing machine, really, don't you? I'll go Guiu. I'll bring Delap on maybe.
Him against Barca is because of the movement in behind. I think that's absolutely ideal with playing Barca the way we play.
He could be good. I think the problem with him is you just don't really know what you're going to get with him from a finishing point of view. It seems very ropey. I'd actually probably go Pedro up top. I think he's going to offer a little bit more, but we'll come on to that later anyway. Let's move on. Let's talk about warming up.
Just to finish things off on Delap, yeah. So 220 minutes in the Premier League so far, so not even 2.5 games worth of Premier League minutes, and that's off the back of a very severe hamstring injury. We basically only seen him play like 60 minutes before that. So yeah, I think very, 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 very early days.
I'm not writing him off. I just he's here to play.
I think it's a big jump from playing the role he's played to what he's going to be asked to do for Chelsea this season, and that is going to take a few games, I think, to adjust to.
I don't think that's where his issue is. I think it just seems to be all over the place mentally.
Liam Delap will be Liam Delap. I think from the first game he had in the Club World Cup, he just started barging into players and getting himself booked.
I do think the red card has tarnished his reputation at Chelsea.
I don't think you'll see much of that from him going forward. I really don't.
Yeah, but that has to happen for him to stop it, I guess.
That's again just like that's the start of the evolution, isn't it? Like you're starting to grow into you're not kicking the ball about with your mates or messing around for Ipswich anymore. You're playing at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and it's get your head switched on.
Well, champions, some would say.
Yeah, but you can't. Can you see him getting 15 league goals this year? I mean, it's looking tight now.
I don't think.
Let's give it. Yeah, it's early days to be writing him off just yet. But I think he can get double digits for sure.
We can't just give this geezer like a season.
He is going to get a season.
That's the model at Chelsea.
That is what he's going to get. Is a season.
Ready-made 9.
Otherwise, they would have signed Osimhen, and we would have signed him last season. So they're not doing that. This is the guy.
They did actually go for Osman. People did forget that they did inquire.
They tried, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Redknapp tried to sign Messi as well. Right, warming up. So Craig's got Gittins, Jimmy Gittins. Brady, you've got Neto, and I've got Santos. Gittins. Craig, again, do you want to defend your corner on Jamie Gittins?
Yeah. So, 90th percentile progressive carries, 97th percentile of successful take-ons.
Is that in this game?
So this is in the
league?
Since the start of the season in Premier League and Champions League. So he's in the top percentiles for both those things. He is 75th percentile in touches in the penalty box as well, which is obviously something Garnacho's really strong at as well, and something that the wingers have really evolved. I think Gittins, from where he was to start the season, I think you guys might remember the game against Crystal Palace where he was absolutely shocking. I think from where he was there to now is night and day. I think when we talk about Delap with an evolution, I think a lot of people have written Jamie Gittins off after sort of 2 games as well, and he's come in and played really well now for a lot of games, continuously basically, where he started in, which is Burnley, which we've just played, Wolves in the League Cup, and he was really good against Ajax as well. Those are the last 3 starts for him, and I think he was man of the match in the Ajax game and man of the match in the Wolves game, and obviously got an assist and was good in this game. But I do think just warming up for him is a good spot, because where he was to where he is now, I think he's grown a lot. And another 21-year-old player that's come in from a completely different league to play a new style and system. I think you're seeing some evolution. Now we're up to, he's still only played 340 minutes in the Premier League, which is just 3.5 games. But I think you are starting to see some sort of positive development for him. And a moment of quality, obviously, for the goal.
I would strongly disagree, but Brady, what do you think?
I think Gittins is doing well. I think he's growing into his skin a bit more. The assist was very good. The assist looked like it's something he's done a lot in training. I think him and Garnacho are very good at those dead ball spaces. I do think there were many times in this game he gave the ball away, and he just made the wrong choice. I think he's fine. I think left wing is fine. Craig has gone through all the stats for Gittins, so there's no point in repeating all that. But I think left wing's good to okay, and right wing's like really, really good. But I'll put it this way: like tomorrow night, I would be putting Neto left wing and Estevao right wing, and I think that says what I think about left wing. I think we have 2 good, young, decent wingers, but in a big game like tomorrow, mainly for tactical reasons, but I would put Neto on the left wing, and I don't think even Neto is that strong on left wing sometimes. So that probably covers what I think of Gittins. I think he's fine, and I think he's improving. Like Craig said, he is getting better. But he was starting from a very low base. He was very, very, very poor. So you would expect him to improve. The Wolves game in the league was really good for him. He got that winner, obviously. He's getting a few assists. So yeah, he's definitely warming up. I agree with that, Craig. But the problem will be is he probably won't start a game now again this week. So he'll probably be Leeds away, and he'll probably start that game, I guess. So it's like, can he handle the rotation and stuff? So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He's not starting Barcelona.
He had the least touches of anyone on the pitch. I think the issue that we've got with him is that he's just not quite at the level we need him to be at in terms, again, talk about at the beginning of the season, personality on the pitch. He had a good cross, but it wasn't for Neto, it was for Enzo. It was a good cross. It's obviously just a cross to a dangerous area, which we like to see. Obviously, well trained on it.
Wingers, by the way, they do just do that.
It was definitely across the back post for Neto.
I think Neto was about 5 yards behind where Enzo was.
Both of you, I think it was an area cross where they.
He put it into an area for sure. It was a good.
They put their head up and they whip it in.
But the rest of the game, I just don't remember him doing anything apart from losing the ball, overhit crosses. He had one on his left foot. He seems to be really bad on his left foot, just lasering it off the pitch. I just think we need to, like Brady said, I wouldn't get him anywhere near this Barcelona Arsenal game. maybe
He
last.
won't play either of those games. No.
But yeah, Leeds, it's another tough game for him. He needs to turn up in that. I'd like to see him score a goal. I know it sounds crazy, but he just seems to be hanging around on the left wing. Even his shot was it was good, but again, it's from like 20 yards. Where's his drive into the box, 1-2s, get a shot off. We see this from a lot of the top wingers. He just seems to be way too cautious about what he's doing. I don't really know why. Yeah, he was good in the Ajax game when they had 10 men, and we were peppering their goal, and he's getting one-on-one with it. They're just hacking the ball back to us. But that's great. But I want to see him do that against 11 men, get the ball up the pitch, transition it, make good decisions, and it just seems to be so inconsistent with him. And again, ball losses way too easy, especially at the beginning of the game when they're pressing us. They're right up for the first 5-10 minutes. He didn't know what to do. 3 or 4 times where he just, the guys just ran over to him basically. He just lost the ball, and the team, that's the time to keep the ball, win a free kick. Yeah, I just worry about him still. I know he's growing, but he's growing not a lot, in my opinion. And I think we're still a way off for him. I think Garnacho's still ahead of him, and he should obviously. I think he will play in the Champions League games, and probably against Arsenal. I don't think he'll do the Esteban thing, but there's something mental with him that he just needs to get over. I had this with a few people in that position. I don't know, he needs to go on loan or something. Someone needs to barge into him a bit and just get him going. That's my opinion on him. I don't know, he just seems like a bit of a mouse when I watch him. It's fine when the weather's nice and the wind's blowing in his favour, but I'd like to see him fight a bit more.
I think he's got better as the weather's got worse, actually. To be honest, but
yeah, I mean his performances. I mean, like you say, Ajax 10 men, Wolves in the League Cup, and this one Burnley away. I mean, it just isn't enough for me. For 50,
I guess
he gets 55
those are the games that he's starting, so that's all he can do, really, isn't it? Like you can only play well in the games you're starting.
But he's not. I don't think he's playing particularly well in those games. I know the Ajax game I wouldn't even really look at, but his
last 2 starts were Burnley, Ajax, and Wolves. He was man of the match in Ajax and Wolves.
Yeah, but again, the Ajax game was against 10. It's a complete pointless game to look at. Everyone was man of the match in that Ajax game because they're just shooting at them for about 90 minutes. It's just
sounds
not
like
even
as well, Chris. You've come around a little bit on Garnacho, who you previously said just a couple of weeks ago that he was just waiting for him to be sold. We're just waiting for him to be sold.
Yeah, but that isn't a real big. I mean, me saying he should start ahead of Gittins isn't really saying much. So
you haven't come around on Garnacho at all.
He's just a good, okay winger. Garnacho. He's not going to be. He's not the next big thing. We need a left winger. If we started the game with Semenyo at left wing, because he's obviously one of the best left wingers in the league, could be available. You just feel like it just looks so much better, but it just looks really weak at the moment, in my opinion. It's such a weak area for us, and we've doubled down on I think, just a stopgap. These are just stopgap players, and Gittins is a long-term investment, obviously.
Yep. Sounds like you're a lot lower on him than us, anyway.
I think we'll see the best of Gittins next season, and maybe the season after that. But this season, I think he's lucky to be getting minutes at Chelsea. That's my opinion of him, and he should, enjoy it because it's a huge learning opportunity for him. But it's not what I would have done. I think we're sort of a bit of a wasted there. I think we could have done more.
I thought he was good.
Right, boiling hot. Oh no, so there's a few other warming up. Neto, Brady, talk to me about Neto.
We spoke about Gittins for ages. I'll be really quick. Pedro Neto just getting the goal. Last season, I was saying to him he doesn't get enough goals and assists, and he's getting goals and assists now. He's always been a good player, always been an all-round solid player, but I always thought that he didn't get enough goals primarily. Always been a bit of an assist king, but this year he's got 6 goals and 6 goals and assists, and 4 of them are goals. He's getting a goal assist every 155 minutes. That'll do for me. And getting good guys, getting goals away. I mean, that was a big goal in the first half because we weren't really creating much. It came a little bit out of nothing that goal. I mean, and he's barring injury, he will start Barca and Arsenal without any argument. He's one of our most consistent performers at the moment. So, yeah, he's really improved this year. Stepped up as I wanted him to, and it's like he's been listening to the pod. He's stepped up, and the returns are coming. So it's good.
I actually think there's a chance that he doesn't start Barca.
If they didn't start Neto versus Barca, they're absolutely insane. I think it's the easiest thing in the world to put him on the left and you double up him and Cucurella on your Mal. I mean, imagine Gittins on your Mal. He'll get eaten alive.
It won't be Gittins, it'll be Garnacho and Esteban.
Well, Garnacho, ditto. You need Neto on the left wing.
I think he's been saving. Well, Garnacho obviously didn't feature on Saturday, so I think you can almost guarantee.
He's come from Argentina, is he?
I think you can pretty much be assured that he's going to start. I think, in my opinion, and I think he's been protecting Steval from the Premier League a bit and has played him in every Champions League game for a reason. It's not just because the refs are obviously ref the game in the same way, but it's much less physical.
Yeah, there's no way he will bench Pedro Neto the way he speaks about him and how much work he does for the team. Like, I think Maresca might do something funny with the formation tomorrow as well. We'll talk about that later, but he always surprises us in these big games. It won't be exactly what you think, but Neto will play.
We'll be seeing Malo Gusto, I think.
Probably, yeah. But Neto, I think Neto's like 99.9% start. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Can I take?
He's probably wouldn't been.
Can I take 100-1 with you? That he doesn't.
I think he's probably. I think he's up there being player of the season for me. Neto. I think he's been outstanding.
Yeah, he's been great. Neto. Yeah.
Hence why you don't bench him for Barca.
No, and also you should be rewarding games like this for the top performers. Like people are desperate to play these games.
I mean, genuinely, like Neto might start false 9 in this game. Like,
I'd rather be playing that than the Arsenal game.
He will.
No, I think we need him versus Arsenal against Saka.
He'll play both games. We have a long gap. It's Tuesday, Sunday. There's no problem. Like it's just you can play.
I'll just be shocked if Neto plays 90 this.
I think he'll get subbed off, right? Leeds play the whole game.
Leeds will be just sub him off for 75.
Yeah,
simple.
That's why we have a perfect. By the way, two players for that spot.
Guys, great. He did not go away with Portugal. He was just had his feet up a Cobham for 2 weeks. So he's fresh and ready to go. So absolutely no reason he can't play 80 minutes for Barcelona and Arsenal. We need to get this it's another thing on our heads that none of our players can play 3 games a week now. They can. They're okay. He can play.
That is weird that people think that. I find that really confusing. It's we've literally watched decades of people doing it now, and no one can do it.
It's because the intensity they cover about 4 kilometers more per match than 20 years ago.
He can obviously play Tuesday.
I watch Gittins, mate, walking around.
He can obviously play Tuesday, Sunday. Obviously, it's just pretty bog standard. It's just.
It's about playing Saturday, Tuesday first, isn't it?
Neto's a warrior. Get him on. We need the best players on. It's a huge Champions League match.
Neto had a bad injury history coming to this club, but he's been managed really well.
That's just revisionism. That's 2 years ago. He's fine. He hasn't an injury in ages. These players are just.
He was injured the other week, actually. I think
you've got to take him out the cotton wall at some point and get him playing. Neto's a key player. He needs to play. It's as simple as that. You can't rest him for Barca. It's rubbish.
I think Esteval is not much of a drop off from Neto personally, but if you think that's fine.
He's huge. It's not like a massive drop off, but experience.
I think Esteval is. I think our right wing is one of the best in world football at the moment. It's incredible, but it's just he isn't going to start Esteval every game. And I think to be honest, what Maresca will he doesn't like Garnacho or Gittins that much. Obviously, even when he talks about them, that Garnacho buy, Maresca had nothing to do with that. That was pure market opportunity. So whatever you think about Garnacho, he hasn't gone, I want Garnacho. No way. They just got a good price on him. So that's fine. Good for the club. Good business. But I'm telling you, when Esteval starts playing right wing, Neto will play left wing, definitely. Or false 9. He isn't dropping Neto anytime soon.
It might. Maybe you're right. Maybe he will do that. We don't know. Right, that's obviously I put Santos, but I think we're going to talk about him in the next section. So Boyd and Hart, the only other player I had was Enzo Fernandez, who, as we say, if you squint really hard with that number 8 on his back, kind of looks like
you have to squint quite hard, I think.
Really hard. You get that sort of late arrival into the box, yeah?
I said this years ago. I said this Leicester away last season. I got laughed at, and now everyone's on it.
He's nothing like Frank Lampard, just so you know.
Did you like my comparison
Yeah,
in the
go ahead.
WhatsApp to say that I can't remember who got subbed off, and I said, "Oh, this will be good." Enzo arriving late in the box for a goal, and there he was, a magic arrival, either through skill or being slow. He just loves that late arrival into the box and a fairly decent finish. He's been on it recently. I think this has been a really good period for him.
He gets stronger as the games go on. I've often mentioned this recently. Just I don't know if I've mentioned it on the pod, but one of the things you notice, obviously, going to the matches is just the distance players cover and how strong they are. A lot of players, when it starts getting to 75, 80 minutes in tough games, they start hiding. They're not looking to track back. They're not looking to run. They're taking every single opportunity to not sprint forward when we're on the counter. They can get away with maybe sitting back. Enzo's the opposite. As the game goes on, he gets stronger. He's sprinting at 80, 85 minutes. And I've referenced the Brighton game where we went down to 10 men, and it's hopeless. We were down, was it 2 or 3-1 at the time? But he's sprinting, leading the press with 10 men, trying to get a result with 85 minutes gone. I
really think he's come on a long way. I think the thing I like about him is he's kind of come from that little register role he was doing where he's kind of a lot of touches, but I don't know, he's really reducing his touches. He seems to know what he's doing before he gets it. Loads more quicker passing and moving, which is great. And we don't really want to see him have too many touches. I still think his shooting is not the best from distance. But I think his football intelligence is really, really high. And you can see that in his movement. You almost wish he was quick because that should be like insane. But yeah, I think he's been a real figurehead for us in this last sort of month and a half, and I'm impressed with what I was seeing with him in this role where he's kind of got a bit of a free role in essence when he drops into that 10, and he can kind of do a bit of everything, and he's got cover behind him, which I really like for him. And then he doesn't really get picked up. As I said, he's a late arrival into the box a lot of the times. There's a lot of moments where he gets free in the box, probably because he's quite small, but obviously he scored against Brighton, a header. He also scored against Brighton away, which was disallowed very similarly. But he does find himself in these positions, and he's taken advantage of it. His goals are actually really good, fairly decent for the actual calendar year. So I think we can be really happy with his level, see if he can carry it on in the tougher games we've got now.
Any word on Enzo, Brady?
You guys covered it. I think his production is a lot better. He seems fitter than he did before. I think he's growing into a leadership role a little bit more. Obviously, the amount Reece James gets rotated, his minutes managed, he is actually the captain on the pitch. He comes on big moments. I just think he is improving. I think him and Caicedo is one of the best pivots in world football. I think Caicedo is quite a bit better than him, but him and Enzo and Caicedo is excellent. And in this game, Santos and Enzo are excellent. I mean, I talk to other fans and they don't really think our team's that good other than the midfield. But everyone rates the Chelsea midfield. And it is really, really good. And he is a key part of that. So that's all you can say, really. I mean, he's got 4 goals already this season in the league and he only got 6 last year. I mean, he could easily get 12 league goals this year. I mean, that'd be incredible for him. But he could get it. He's just chipping in with goals. When Palmer's not on the pitch, he's probably going to be on penalties. He could easily get 10, 12 league goals and 7 assists. I mean, that'd be incredible. If he could get to 20 GA this year, which is not looking ridiculous, that would be absolutely fantastic from the man.
Yeah, I'd like to see his creativity is actually fairly good. Obviously, he had Jackson last season, which troubled him. But yeah, he's got a lot to his game. It's just sometimes he just looks horrendous. I don't know why. But yeah. Right, talk to me about Santos, because I had a warming up, but you guys are very hot on him. He's boiling in your head, so tell me about Santos.
Well, I think it's a player that I really loved coming this season. Obviously, his performances for Strasbourg last season were great. I was really excited about to see how he would perform and sort of where his role was. I know a few people have done tactical breakdowns on him. Sort of people were a bit everywhere on him as a midfielder because he kind of can do a little bit of everything. But I think seeing him in this role was absolutely brilliant. Caicedo's sort of backup. I think we can sort of cement him a bit more into that sort of role now, even off the bench. I think Maresca said in the post-match presser that this is his position, and they really wanted to play him here a lot. But obviously, they've been playing Caicedo basically every minute of every game, so he wasn't able to feature here as much. And I just think it suits him really well. He's got that sort of Conor Gallagher-esque ability to press and intercept and block. And those are his outstanding qualities. I think on the ball, he's just all right. I think he's got some good moments and some bad moments, kind of like Gallagher, really, in that regard as well. And kind of like Conor Gallagher, he's not the fastest either. He's quite slow over a long distance. So he's got quite a lot of similarities to Gallagher, who a lot of the fans loved, but was sort of semi-limited as a player. So yeah, I think we found a good role for Santos here, and hopefully he can sort of continue to evolve those sort of defensive attributes.
Yeah, in this game, he got 17 defensive contributions. I mean, that even makes Caicedo turn his head and take notice. 5 out of 7 ground duels. He was just incredible off the ball. And I think
Gallagher's
quite good. I actually never thought of that, but Gallagher's quite a good comparison, actually. He is just
I like that. That's a decent comparison, I think.
Monster in the press, pretty good on the ball. But obviously when he played, I mean, it was night and day from his last half-12 kickoff against Forest, where he was awful in the 10. And I think it's just that, the lower number, the better. I mean, I think he's going to be awful at 10 and really good at 6. And obviously, we've got Sugo coming back in the new year, but he is
my man.
Yeah, he is the backup 6 for Caicedo. And it's nice, like, if you've got a game like Cardiff away in not that Caicedo probably would play that game anyway, but Cardiff away, or a game around Christmas where you can just play Santos in the 6 and give Caicedo a rest, that's awesome. Because obviously Lavia is nowhere to be seen. So yeah, just clearly that Maresca's working things out on the job a little bit, and I don't think we'll be seeing Santos high up the pitch anymore. I think it'll be purely, especially Palmer back. Obviously Palmer back in the 10, it'll be, he won't be getting any minutes there. So yeah, I think you can, if you were beating Barcelona 4-0 on Tuesday, you can take Caicedo off and keep resting for Arsenal. Joking, but you can chop up Caicedo's minutes a bit more and bring Santos on in the 6 and be more comfortable than we thought we'd be.
Yeah, I like Santos. I think he's a really good prospect, good player. Very similar to how he was in his pre-season season before. Like, his reading of the game is really, really strong. I didn't like the fact that he was the last man blocking shots. I think that was a very weird situation to be in for us, which I don't really understand how we got to that position. But he did a great job of tracking back, and I don't think it was great decision making from the Burnley players, but he did his best, and he always seemed to be in the right place to clear the ball and set the ball. 5 interceptions in this game is unbelievable. So, the more he plays, I think the better it'll be. He's a fantastic squad player for us this season. Really good. I think he can do both, lots of different roles in there. So, really good player to have. I think a really good signing for us. I think he was quite cheap. Really young player as well, but I think they've got a decent player there. So that's a big kudos to the people who recruited him.
I don't think that Andre Sanchez is going to be at Chelsea a very long time. I just think it'll be very difficult for him to mould out something like in the first team of Caicedo there. But I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll develop into more like an 8 and he'll replace Fernandes maybe. But maybe if Fernandes leaves, he can play in there. But he will have very good resale value if we do end up selling him, because he's a very good player.
I mean, he's already a 50, 60 million pound player, isn't he? We signed him for 30 million.
I'm not going to tell the geezer already, but he would be good at, like, I mean, you can see Barcelona licking the lips at a player like that. Like, just
Brady's in with Clear Lake now. He's all these things about selling people. Oh yeah, sell him. Sell him in 2 seasons.
Not all these players are going to make it. Like, it's funny.
Why can't he just be on a rotation for us in midfield with Caicedo and Endo?
When you watch Chelsea, recently I've been watching, especially over international break, I watched like old school, like, all Eden Hazard's goal, all Willian's goals, or all Costa's goals, and you sometimes you think about players, like, oh yeah, I remember that player. And at the time, we'll probably think, oh yeah, this player's going to be really good for years. And some guys just don't. I'm not saying I don't want to sell him, but some of these players will get turned over, and like even the ones that don't quite make it, we're going to get a good value for them. So that is where the business model was very good. Because, I mean, our midfield unit's incredible. Like, to have Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia, Asugo, and Santos is a ridiculous midfield unit. And, eventually, a couple of them are going to want minutes all the time, right? So a couple of them are going to go probably. And we'll probably turn someone else over and get someone else in. But, yeah, the midfield unit, like I said before, repeating myself, the midfield football, I think, is the best in world football. I mean, it's an incredible unit. We've got a 5 there. So, yeah, it's great.
Nice. Yeah, look, it's we're lucky to have it, and I say kudos to the recruitment team. I think they've got a really good, versatile player there. Shout out to Badia Shile as well. Good to see him back. Chelsea legend.
Brady's boy.
Well, I'll tell you what, not my boy. The Lamborghini song was getting burst out. Did you hear that?
It is a good song.
It is a good song.
They call it Badia. But they pronounce his name a bit funny to make it rhyme with Lamborghini. But what a song. And yeah, I mean, all he had to do was nod the ball back to the goalkeeper and the fans all over him in terms of cheering. So fan favourite. Lovely.
Absolutely, yeah. We do love Badia Shile. Yeah. Not for the right reasons. So that concludes the temperatures. Thanks very much, guys. And now we're going to go around the grounds. Going to talk about all the other league games that happened over the weekend, with the exception of Man United, who are against 10 men at the moment at Old Trafford. So we're going to start our engines. Are you guys ready?
We are.
Yes.
Start the music, please. And off we go. Bournemouth 2, West Ham 2.
I thought West Ham were going to do it. They were going to absolutely... I don't know what the correct expression is, but I think Bournemouth had 4 XG versus 0.6, and West Ham almost squeaked away with a win, but yeah, it wasn't to be.
It's an Areola all-time superstar performance, and yeah, I mean, Bournemouth are a funny team. They kind of just randomly go 2-0 down to West Ham, but obviously Callum Wilson came back and haunted them. But yeah, I mean, the least they deserved was a draw in this game.
Yeah, what's the highlights for this one? This was a absolutely blockbuster game from Bournemouth and very unlucky to not get the win. Good job happening at West Ham. Brighton 2, Brentford 1.
Yeah, another crazy game, and obviously they missed the stoppage time penalty, Brentford, to equalise. I think I knew it would be a feisty game between these two, and yeah, it certainly was.
I bought Minte in an FPL for 11-pointer, so I was actually a Brighton fan in this game. Craig's mate Welbeck scored again, 7 goals. Can't stop scoring since he scored against Chelsea. And I mean, Brighton, I haven't pegged down for 8 4 9. They might be top 6 contenders. They're getting a bit better. They're starting to, I think this game last season, I know the guy missed a penalty, but they just seem to be turning draws into wins, just digging out points a bit more. Their coach is obviously quite a good, young coach, and Brentford, like a lot of teams, similar to Leeds and teams like that. Brentford is so poor away. I mean, they're good at home, but 3 points from away games. 3 points from 6 away games for Brentford, so very home heavy this year. Yeah,
this was a very good game, and we know Brentford love set pieces, got one, missed one, and Brighton always good for a goal, so it was a nice result for Brighton, and like you say, just keep it in that top half of the league table, so great going. Fulham 1, Sunderland 0.
Talking about turning draws into wins, Sunderland's, I don't want to say their luck finding ran out, but they were badly outplayed in this game, and they almost held on for a 0-0, but Fulham finally got the Jimenez winner in the 84th minute. 2 XG to 0.1, so yeah, quite a battering.
Yeah, I mean, this was a massive win for Fulham. Yeah, I mean, I said to Chris earlier, because, I was a bit better for them, maybe a safe Silver's job, maybe not that, but I mean, it was a real must win. And Sunderland are really good away, a really poor away, except when they play us. Again, another team that's struggling on the road, but really strong at home.
Yeah, I think home form is definitely the key, as always. And Fulham looking good at home. And yeah, I think the way the fixtures fall, I think they're going to pick up a few more points now towards Christmas. So I think they'll be fine. Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 3.
I mean, just a shock result of the season, really, and 6 defeats in 7 for Liverpool. They are really struggling, although they were very unlucky to lose this game 3-0, got to say.
Liverpool's Galactico sliced and diced. That's what I've got to say.
That is good, yeah. Dyche is setting up a few masterclasses at the moment, as always. I think Slot's run his race. If I'm honest, I can't see him staying after Christmas. If I'm completely honest, I think this is a mess that I think he's gonna fall in his order. Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 2.
Tough start for Rob Edwards. Palace such a good away side. They came and Wolves actually gave them a good crack, but Palace too strong on the counter and just
Yeah, it's a massive job for Edwards, obviously, for Wolves without a win this season. And Glasgow, I mean, again, another team where you think they're going to fall away and they're just not. I mean, I do think that them playing on Thursday will hurt them a bit. Palace, it has already a little bit when they're playing, I remember Everton away, they fell away and lost the game because after playing on Thursday, but it's a really good team and a really good manager, and I think they're on for like 60 points, 65 points this year. I mean, a really, really good team.
Yeah, this was an Adam Wharton masterclass, and Wolves are the whipping boys. Just 2 points so far this season. That is dreadful. Newcastle 2, Man City 1.
Yeah, huge win for Newcastle. I think St James's Park is such a tough place to go. Rocking for the game. I thought this is an unbelievable game of football to watch. I know this is the 5:30 game on a Saturday. I don't always get to watch that with bedtime and everything going on these days. But I was able to watch a lot of this game, and it just was an unbelievable watch as a neutral. So intense, proper Prem game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good game. Could have been 4-4. Newcastle so dominant at home, and City can't seem to get a run together. But with Newcastle, I mean, they've got Marseille away, and then the Champions League doesn't seem to be good. But Everton away, put your money on Everton. I mean, they're literally talking to cheese. Newcastle, they're so bad away, but at home they're so dominant.
Yeah, we need to have a talk about Phil Foden at some point, Brady. But this was a Harvey Barnes masterclass, and I think City, as dodgy as I thought they were at the back, to be honest with you, not looking too good. Newcastle always good at home, especially in these sort of games, crowd behind them, and more points for them, and they are struggling still, but this is a great win. Leeds 1, Aston Villa 2.
Yeah, a bit of class from Morgan Rogers in this one. I know me and Chris really like this player, and it was nice to see him get a couple of goals on his way to Chelsea next season, hopefully.
You really like him, but you can't spell his name. It was Rogers without a D on a double. I mean, Rogers looks good. No, not nowhere near Cole Palmer's territory, but there's levels to the freezer celebration. But it's Cole celebration. Sorry, but Leeds probably deserve a point in this game. I know we've got a friend of the pod, Dan, who says that Villa aren't playing very well. I think Villa are getting a bit lucky. I think for some, they're digging results out, but I think they're destined for 7 for 8 this year. Villa, they just seem to be stuttering along a bit.
Yeah, this was a decent win for Villa on the road. Always tough to win on the road, as we've seen from the previous games. I really don't know what's happened to Ollie Watkins, but they might need to sort that out in January. But
probably losing a lot yard of pace, I think.
Yeah, but Morgan Rogers is a superstar, and we're lucky to have him in for the World Cup, hopefully, as well.
On the bench, backing up Cole Palmer.
That's it. Arsenal 4, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
I mean, it was one of the most pathetic performances. I mean, Spurs were pathetic against us, but they were even more pathetic in this game. I mean, absolutely offering nothing. I don't know. I really liked Thomas Frank coming into this season. I actually thought that he was my preference for the Chelsea job before we got Maresca. And the more this season goes on, the more I'm thankful that we've got Maresca, because Frank's not offering much at the moment for Spurs.
Yeah, Arsenal smash. Sorry, Spurs, but it won't be as Eze next week.
Nice. This is a Thomas Frank disaster class for me. Absolutely hopeless. What I don't know what brand of football he's trying to play, but it just looks terrible. Terrible.
It's shocking to watch. I mean, they can't even have a shot. They're struggling to even have shots in the game.
Let's be honest, it isn't shocking. It's funny to watch. I mean, do you ever watch a question on YouTube? Like, it's hilarious. Like, it's just.
But it's hard, like all these teams, they turn up at most grounds. They have a shot off target or two. Like, the Spurs can't even get the ball in and around the box. I mean, it's so bad.
Yeah, it is. It's actually like you say, it is funny to a point, but it's actually just embarrassing. Like, I obviously, you're watching the game as a Tottenham fan as well, in a way where you want them to take points of Arsenal. It's just horrible. I just cannot believe anyone wants to sit through that.
It's like going back, and it wasn't as bad as this, but it's almost as bad as this. But when Chelsea were under Potter, where we were getting like 0.3, 0.4 XG in games, and like just being like, we just can't get the ball high up the pitch at all, and it is just like that.
Yeah, I do feel bad. I do think they're both their midfielders are tragic, so they're not going. They won't be doing anything, Tottenham, until they get 2 new midfielders if they want to play that formation. So, cool, right? And obviously, the MNF game is Manchester United Everton, and it's 0-0.
And it's 1-0 to Everton.
Oh, okay.
It's the World Cup winner, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall,
with a cracking goal.
Oh, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, yeah. They told me he wasn't very good, but looks like he's playing in his proper position now.
He's found his level.
Yeah, the Premier League,
Conference League, and World Cup winner, mate. He's World Cup winner.
That's it. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Cool. Right, that concludes Around the Grounds. Right, we're going to talk quickly about 2 games we've got coming up. So we'll start with the Champions League home game against Barcelona, who is a familiar foe in the Champions League. But we've had some cracking matches against them in the past. Do we think this is going to live up to the same sort of billing? I guess it's a completely different teams, I guess, either both teams really from that era.
Over 2.5 goals. That's the easy one for this one.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that.
I think
both.
I think Barca are very susceptible going at the back, but also I think both teams are going to try and play high in this game. I think there's a good chance Barca score, and I think Chelsea will find some really good solutions against the way Barca play. Maresca, I know Brady sort of alluded to this already, but I do really trust Maresca in these big games a lot more. He's earned my trust with some of these game plans against some of these sort of high pressing units. So
another good bet for this game, I think, could be a red card.
Yeah, always good bet in the Champions League with these refs.
Well, I just think with the way that they're going to play, I just think you can see a penalty in this sort of game. Someone just make a horrible mistake or something. Like I said, I think there'll be goals in this. I really do. I think it'll be 2 really good attacking teams, and I think 2 fairly poor defensive teams. I would include Chelsea in that. I think, especially if we're starting Tosin, Chalobah, and Gusto, I think that's just you're asking for trouble against Rafinha, Yamal, etc. So, not that Rafinha's going to play, I don't think, but yeah, it's a lot of trouble coming our way, maybe. So, brace yourselves. What do you think, Brady?
I think it's going to be I mean, my not doing predictions, but my prediction would be there'll be over 3 goals in this game, probably like 2-2 or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch loads of Barcelona, but obviously I watched them last year in the Champions League mainly, and they're just very good at going for. I think there was that game in the San Siro where I think they ended up obviously losing over 2 legs to Inter, but they were full of goals, but very susceptible to the high line. I'm not sure if they've got don't really know. Maybe they've got the quickest centre backs, but they must do if they're playing high line. But he's a very progressive coach, Hansi Flick. He won't, if we're 1-0 up to the high line, he isn't going to drop them back. It's just, it's a little bit like this is how we play, sort of thing. So yeah, we could really exploit that. We've got a lot of pace in behind to do that. It's just an exciting game. It's just really nice to be in the Champions League. I mean, I think this time last year we played Noah, weren't we, or something like that. Shamrock Rovers. It's just whatever happens in the Champions League. It's just so nice to get these like mega teams coming to the bridge, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great game to be at. It's going to be a really good atmosphere. It's a must-win after the Carabao nightmare, really. We didn't win that, so we
lost. The loss, as some people called it.
I mean, felt like a loss, didn't it? I don't even want to remember what that game was like, but it was 2-2 of Carabao. What do we think in terms of this? Is a must-win, I think, for top 8. Has to be, right?
I've kind of given up on top 8. Not given up, but
well,
the PSG didn't get top 8 last year, and they won the thing. It's just top 8 isn't like it's good.
It saves yourself a game, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but it's not like the be all and end all. If
no,
this game a little bit is a shot to nothing for us. A little bit. I mean, if we win it and we can go on, but if we end up losing it but playing well or drawing, it's not a big deal. We're going to get middle 8. I think we're like 98% to get middle 8, and about 15-20% or something like that to get top 8. I think. dropping points to Bayern and those away. When you only get 1 point away from home in 2 games, it's not going to be great. So we've obviously got some pretty solid away games coming up. So yeah, it is must win if you want to make top 8. But I don't think top 8 is defined for our season. I think we'll find a way to get to the last 6, to get to the latter stages of the tournament anyway. To be honest, depending on the draw. But yeah, I mean it's a big game, but. I don't think it's like if we win or lose, draw or lose, it's just like a big problem. It's just you just want a good performance versus a good team, right? That's the way I'm looking at it.
I think the fixtures we've got left are obviously Paphos at home, which you'd expect us to be winning that. But if you lose this game, you then got to go to Atalanta away. I mean, they're not a comfortable team to play, especially with their press. And then you've got to go to Napoli last game. I don't think you want to be going there needing to get anything really, especially the way McTominay's on it. But that's a hostile environment. So I think there is a little bit on this. I think a draw is probably a needed result here at minimum. Craig?
Yeah, I'm with Brady. I do think the game's going to be really enjoyable and, like you say, fantastic atmosphere. And obviously great to watch Chelsea play Barcelona at home and just be there for that, like we all are going to be. But yeah, I don't think the performance is the most important thing. I think being tested against these big clubs, I think the difference between top 8 and qualifying is sort of just negligible, really.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, 3 points. 3 points is the sort of 25th in the league. So yeah, we'd have to lose all the other games really, considering how poor the other teams are, but you just don't know the way the fixtures are. Let's talk about Arsenal, which is obviously
now this is a
really important game based on what could happen in the title race if Chelsea decide they want to enter it.
Wow,
and they can enter it by...
Chris is included as in the title race, though.
If they want to enter the title race, they've just got to win every game for the next month, which I'm sure they're very likely to do. What do you think about this game? Is this how do you see it playing out? I think it's the best way we can look at it.
I think KG.
I'll put it this way: we won't get 0.7 xG those Tottenham. I won't say idiots.
Oh, interesting.
We're not just going to come on Arsenal, come and have your way with us. I mean, we will put up a fight. Obviously Arsenal. I'm not sure the odds will be. I think Arsenal will be slight favourites in this game. Maybe we will be, but.
Arsenal will be slight favourites.
Yeah, so that's fine. But we're going to put up a fight, man. Even against Arsenal last year, I don't think Arsenal are. I think Arsenal are better than they were last year, but I don't think they're miles better than they were when they played us a similar time last season. But we're a lot better than we were then. So I think we can win this game. It's obviously, you can go into any full match and say you can win, but it's probably got a 30% chance to win this game with the bookies and. Yeah, I think we can give them a game, and even if we don't, I would be shocked if we roll over and Arsenal win 2-0 and we barely have a shot, like they would do to Tottenham for whatever. I think it'll be a fight, and I think it'll be another boxing analogy. Even if they end up winning the fight, they'll have a few marks on them, and I know they've been in a fight. That's what I see. That's how I see the match.
I think it's going to be. You think it's going to be cagey, Craig? Do you?
I think it'll be really cagey, the game. I actually think 0-0 is a reasonably likely result in this game.
Wow.
I think both teams desperately don't want to lose this game, and I think Arsenal will come into the game thinking that a draw is enough with how the league's playing out, and I think Chelsea overall would probably take a draw. And I think with both those things sort of happening, I think 0-0, 1-1, those are the two massive.
We just have a lot of players who just won't think like that. Like if Esteval plays or players play, but let's have a lot of players who need to prove themselves.
Yeah, but it's about the setup and it cancels each other out. I think I don't think Arsenal are going to push so high in this game, and I don't think Chelsea will either. So yeah, I look, obviously games can open up, and you're right. I think obviously all the players will want to win from both teams. I just think the setup will be solid for both teams, and they won't want to lose the game. I think a similar game to last season, basically. I think it'll be a similar
Do you think Chelsea are good at that? If they go, well, we're just going to, not part the bus, but be solid. Have we ever really done well?
I think this season we have been good at that, yeah.
I think when we got down to 10 men, I feel like we just fold fairly quickly.
Well, hopefully
that's not defensive. That's not like an attacking issue. That's like a defensive issue.
I think it's just a structural issue with 10 men. I don't think I would say wouldn't be Maresca's strong point as a coach to set up a team with 10 men at the moment. Something to work on maybe for him. But I think with 11 men, we do look very solid this season.
I think if we we've got to stick with our guns. I thought we could go after them. Because if we try and, like you say, if we try and sit back a little bit and try not to lose, I think we will lose quite easily.
You make the match boring, Arsenal will win, I think. Like they'll just like get a goal from a corner and they'll just win 1-0. I think we have to get at them a bit. Yeah, Taylor. I know that people don't like that Taylor's the ref, but Taylor was a ref versus Liverpool, right? Was he? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
And like, it just a couple of decisions go against our way, and you get the Taylor chant going, and it'll just be rocking. Like it'll just be rocking the bridge, and the players will feed off that. And I know you said the draw. I mean, the draw doesn't really do anything for us. A win is the only thing. I mean, the only win is the only thing that will put pressure on Arsenal. Not even just for us in the title race. It's about time that somebody put a dent in Arsenal this season. I think. Like if anyone can at the moment, I think it's us. Maybe City at home, obviously. But other than that, I mean, obviously Liverpool at the moment. Obviously they beat them earlier in the season, but they were lucky. But we can put a dent in Arsenal now. Whether that means just getting a 2-2 or a bit like Sunderland did, or they're very, very hard to beat. Obviously, very hard to beat. But look at Sunderland.
They're very hard to create chances.
But look at Sunderland. Like all Sunderland did was lob a few balls in, bit physical, and they got a 2-2 draw. Like it's not
really our game, though, is it?
Yeah,
but you
it's
can
not really also really a foolproof game plan.
We're very good at set pieces ourselves in terms of attacking.
What we're good at is playing through the pitch quickly when we want to, and I think when you have top players who can play the ball quickly, like Caicedo in the middle, the warrant of the team should be that we go and attack Arsenal and not try and get the ball around the back, try and pass it round. And then, lose the ball in high areas and then wait for them to attack. I think this is a game that we just got to go after them. Have to.
I know it didn't show on yesterday, but, they're not having Gabriel in a game like this is massive as well. Like,
I think we've got to focus on putting the pressure on Hincapié. That is for sure.
Yeah, and like, it is a weak point. I mean, Spurs literally did nothing other than Richarlison, free goal, whatever, the goal we got. Just... we will get chances. We get chances versus everyone. Our XG is so high in every game, basically. We very rarely get below 1 XG, very rarely, against anyone in the world. So, and Maresca is very good at setting his team up these days. So, I don't think you should just... I mean, you listened to the pundits yesterday, and it's like... And everyone, like, Arsenal have already won the league. And yeah, they're looking like heavy favourites, but you can put a dent in them. You can put a dent in them, and I think we're the team that maybe can do it, but we'll have to wait and see if they can prove me right.
I do feel like semi-confident going into this game. Obviously, the acknowledgement that,
And again, putting a dent in them could just be 1-1 and maybe, similar to last season. But we drew 1-1 with them last season. We didn't even play that well. It was like quite a boring game. We didn't really do anything in the game. Neto got a good goal, but that was it. Like we didn't really... I think we're a much better team now. So, I think we've got a chance.
Always got a chance at home, I think. This is always a big chance. Got to get the crowd behind. Got to get the crowd. I think the Barca game is going to be important for the Arsenal game in terms of.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
If Barca come and slap us 4 or 5-0, I think people are going to go to the Arsenal game.
Confidence won't be there. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
with that.
It's going to be really tough. So.
I think if we beat Barca, especially comfortably, let's say it's 2-0, I think both teams are coming into this game flying, and you just never know then.
Yeah.
All right, I've got 2 questions for you before we wrap up. One, is Cole Palmer going to feature against Arsenal?
No.
Yeah, I think he'll come on towards the end. If we're losing, I think if we're losing heavily, he won't. I don't think he'll come on if we're winning.
I think he'll be on the bench against Arsenal. That's my shout, and it'll be a surprise and a talking point before the match, and a little bit of a psychological thing I think from Maresca. Where
I think he might be on the bench. I don't think he'll get minutes.
Well, I think if he's on the bench, I think he'll definitely come on. But yeah, I think that's a nice psychological aspect of the game where it'll give the team confidence to know that Cole's there on the bench as well if we need him. I think that is an added... And also just from the Arsenal point of view, how deflating is that from Arsenal fan base, but also from the team? They won't say it out loud, but they'll know. It's like, Cole Palmer's back for this game. Yeah, if they need him, he is on the bench. So
never turns up against Arsenal, does he? Was it the Emirates he never plays?
Yeah,
I think Arsenal fans egos are so big at the moment. You could have prime Ronaldinho on the bench; they wouldn't care. I mean,
I think they'd be more up for it if Palmer's
the
there as well.
aura around Arsenal at the moment is
I think that'll
Shut
send a
down.
little bit of and also just like the little bit of the mind games that Maresca saying that he won't feature against Arsenal, but then him actually playing. I quite like that. That's my shout. And then also the last question is the reception for Noni Madueke. What's he getting?
Obviously, he's been booed.
I think polite applause, but just nothing.
What?
Polite applause from
What?
Brady.
Polite applause for him. He just moved to Arsenal and he keeps making stupid comments as well.
Havertz got nothing, right?
Well, he won this Champions League, so
He
it's
came out of
tough.
loads of quotes saying that he didn't enjoy being at Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah, but he won the Champions League for us with that goal, so it's hard to be like.
I don't think anyone's like going like absolutely all in on Madueke. I doubt it.
Mate, he's a penalty thief.
To sound like it's a lot of booze, if that makes sense.
I'll boo him.
I think
He left before the final of the Club World Cup. He flew off to sign for Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm more like
absolute
to boo
scum, mate.
Madueke than I am to boo Havertz before Havertz started doing like stupid stuff all the time in the games against us. But I think
it'd be
it's kind of a laugh with Nolly because I think he'd take it quite well as well.
He'll come on, and then the fans will be like, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to boo him. I forgot." There'll be that kind of vibe. They won't be like, "Oh yeah, before the game we've got to boo Madueke." They'll be like, "Oh yeah, Madueke's played for us."
Well, he won't be starting, will he?
It's funny with the Chelsea fans. I'm curious as to see what it'll be like when he comes on because he will come on in this game.
I thought like the Mount booing was like a bit harsh. To be honest.
What? The guy who left and then he wants to play for his dream club with his dad.
Yeah, but it's like everyone knows he was basically forced out, Mount. So it's like,
oh my god, here we go.
So just, I don't know. If Mount's getting booed, I think Madueke probably is.
If being forced out is like not paying him 250k a week, then yeah, we did force him out.
Yeah, but anyway, I think Madueke will.
He literally left before the final of the Club World Cup.
People just don't care about Madueke.
I actually forgot about that. And Chris,
it's a disgrace.
No, I think that is awful.
People just won't really care.
To sign for Arsenal. I mean, that is horrific.
Join up with their pre-season tour in Asia. I mean, come on.
If you're 2-0 up and flying and he comes on for the last 10 minutes, no one cares. But if you're already getting beat and like...
if anything, he shouldn't do that. If they're losing, he brings on Madueke. That would be even worse for him because that just riles the crowd up. Imagine we're like 2-0 up and they bring on Madueke. Yeah, that'd be absolutely amazing.
He won't start, will he? He'll come on as a sub.
He'll never start.
He won't celebrate on Madueke. He's not that type. He wouldn't celebrate against Chelsea. No way. Zero chance.
I'm not 100% sure on that one either.
No, I don't think he would. To be honest, definitely not. You've got too many mates at the club.
He do his little face thing. He does.
Anyway, we got to wrap this up. It's been we've gone way over. We've gone way over
because you keep asking questions, mate.
Yeah, no, there were good questions though. Good questions.
All right. Well, look, that's all we've got time for. So thanks, guys.
No worries.
We look forward to these next two games. These are some of the biggest of the season. Maybe for the rest of the season, who knows? But certainly the season so far. So regardless of the result, we'll be back to talk about them and give our input. But for more updates on all things ESCR, you can follow us on X at @EatSleepChelsea and Instagram at @EatSleepChelseaRepeat. As always, we hope you're carefree wherever you may be. And thanks for listening.